having met her husband at BYU, as well as all of our children, as well as having met Melanie at a dance lab. One of those things we had to do, but I'm glad that I went to the dance lab and met Melanie there. Our other child, Tisha, well, I guess in order they were married. Janessa and Craig met at BYU. Craig, Craig is in mechanical engineering, trying to struggle through that tough program at BY and wants to continue on with his master's degree in mechanical engineering. And Riley is looking to do his graduate work at the University of Utah in psychiatry. And Tisha met Riley, still going to BYU. Tyson, I'm sorry. Oh, did you date? Somebody dated. And they were dating one another. Met Tyson, and he is, he couldn't come. He's in IT and Chinese, two really tough majors at BYU. They're looking to go to China perhaps next year, which is part of the requirements. Is that a requirement? And we have at home Christopher's preparing for his mission, putting his mission papers together right now. He's excited about that. Working at Olive Garden as a server, doing very well. Sarah at home, who's a big help and goes to Communication Arts High School, which is a magnet school you have to be invited to attend. She's doing very well. Her younger brother Caleb was also invited to attend a special high school Communication Arts. So they're in that together. They enjoyed being together there. We have Michaela, who's 8, just recently was baptized. She's ready to sign out. We'll get to that part. We have Marissa. We have so many kids. We have Marissa, who is 6, who's energy and joy. We're very blessed as a family. Memories of Mom. Being maybe a little facetious here, whenever I hear the broom closet, you all know the broom closet, which just made it into the broom closet. Mom kept a paddle in the broom closet.
We had the wheat sack.
No. I didn't have a yardstick. I had a paddle, and it was like a 2x4. But there were a couple times that, Kelly, remember you and I were playing, Mom and Dad were gone, and much like Kelly and Kim, we kind of had Mom and Dad to go out, and kind of knew how much time approximately we had. So things got a little crazy sometimes, and Kelly and I, you younger ones want you to close your ears. But I knew where Dad kept one of his pistols. Remember that? And so, we were just kind of playing around the house, and I got a hold of one of Dad's pistols, and I thought I had pulled all the unchambered the bullets. And so I went into Mom and Dad's bedroom, and I go, this is cool. So I took aim and I fired at their built-in dresser. And I didn't, it was a real surprise when I blew a hole in their dresser. So immediately, Kelly was in a panic, I was in a dead panic.
Joshua.
And so I went and got toothpaste and tried to fill the hole in and putty the hole, hoping and praying. Mom, thanks for showing restraint. When you came home and I saw the morning by looking at Kelly's face, thanks, Kelly. Toothpaste probably would have covered it.
Chris kind of sent me to the front.
And damage control. And then the other time, Mom, it was early in the morning, and you would always, but not always, that occurred to you. You like Kelly said, you trusted us, and you just said, Chris, do the right thing. And I came home about real early in the morning one night, Dad's satellite C-brain, and got a little fast, went around a turn. And this was the car that Dad took to work to go to Vegas on the weekends. And I high-centered it. And that was a long walk home, and I remember having that talk with Dad, that you kept your cool, you didn't go to the broom closet, Mom. And I want to thank you for, again, just the love and caring and the nurturing.
She looks kind of mad, Chris.
But also with Kelly, Friday night was not TV night for us. You brought out the vocabulary cards. You remember we played vocabulary games. It wasn't Scrabble. was the vocabulary part. And to this day, I remember that. And in closing, just the love of literature. And to this day, some of my poets, many of the poems that I memorized. No, I'm not going to recite. I'm going to, there's one that's a favorite of mine, and you helped me with Robert Frost. Ellie's laughing, I'm always quoting. But there's one that's a favorite of mine, and you shared this, you introduced Robert Frost to me, and I'm going to dedicate this one to you. It's called Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. You will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. A little horse was thinking queer without a farmhouse near to stop, but it was frozen like the darkest evening of the year. He gives his barnstells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweet of the easy wind and downy flake. Yes, the woods are dark indeed, but I have miles to go before I sleep and miles to go before I sleep. And that's just a little one of many. Mom, you instilled that love of literature and vocabulary and grammar in me, and I thank you for that. That's it. Next.
Hey, Tiffany couldn't make it over here. She's working hard delivering babies in New Haven, Connecticut. And her husband is finishing up his PhD there, working in the electron microscope most of the day in his lab, working on who knows what, some cure for some disease. They have 2 more years, approximately 2 more years before he's finished, and hopefully we'll head out to Phoenix. We're hoping that he'll come to Phoenix. Whitney is up at Ricks College, Idaho, and she didn't come down because she's been pretty sick, but she'll get better. She's heading for Europe this summer, and is really looking really aren't real special, but jumped out. Kim and I had you guys don't realize this, but when Kim and I were young, there little lawnmower motors that was a big deal. Nobody had them. Certainly we didn't have them. But Kim and I decided one time we were going to make a little go-kart or a little mini bike or something, a little motorcycle, and so we pooled our money together. We didn't have much money, and we went down to a used tool store, and it was a big purchase for us. I mean, we'd never spent this much money. I think we looked around and found this little motor. And we brought it home, and we worked on it, and it turned out it was a bad motor. It would never run. And we were really disappointed. And, but this was the kind of place where when you bought something, there was a big sign on the front that said, cash only and no refunds. And so Mom could see how disappointed we were. And so, by the way, this guy had a big cigar and a big huge beer gut, and I mean, this was one mean guy. So Kim and I, there was no way that we were going to go back to this place. But Mom took that engine and got in the car, and she went down there, and she got our money back. And I think everybody in the family will realize that when Mom had a hankering to do it, there was probably nothing that she couldn't get done. And we always appreciated that about her, and I think that's rubbed on us too. That we, when we get our backs against the wall, we can get out of it. Thanks. Another time I can remember that it was a kind of a standout memory is I was playing football at Pierce College. I really wasn't too interested in school at the time, and my buddy Ray and I were just pretty much just hanging out and not going anywhere. We had a class at Pierce College. There was an English literature class, and the final exam, which was most of the grade, was term paper. And so I mentioned to Mom that it was due in about a week, and I hadn't done anything to prepare for it. And so Mom said, just out of the blue, she goes, "Hey, I'll do the paper for you." So Mom, if you can believe this, did the whole term paper, everything, footnotes. I mean, like 20 pages. And just handed it to me, and I took it in and handed it in. My buddy Ray had done the same thing. He had a real brainiac brother who had done who did the same thing. He paid his brother to do, he was a high school kid, and he did this paper for his brother. Well, it turned out the last day of school, we were sitting in the back row, kind of just, in a daze, and the teacher said, the professor got up and said, the results of this final exam were kind of curious to me. I was really surprised. So what I decided to do is have the two best papers, starting out with the two best papers, come up and give an oral talk about their papers. And so she goes, the first one is Ray Proctor. He got an A on his paper. And so neither one of us had ever even opened the term papers to read them and know what they were about. So Ray got up and stumbled along, and the professor up there is going, okay. And so he said the next one is Camille Lundeen. He got a B+. What's with that, Mom? How come you did? I got a B+.
You didn't pay her.
Yeah, that's right. And so I got up there and stumbling through, I opened it to the first page and read the title page, and that was a real disaster. But I'll never forget that. And Mom doing that paper for me. How surprised I was that she actually did that for me. But Mom, we're all here tonight. So appreciative of all the time and effort that you put forth on our behalf, and like Kelly and Pam have indicated, we hope that we can, at some point in our lives, our kids will look back and say that we've done the same things for them that you've done for us. And that will be a real joy to me to hear that, because how I feel for all of the things that you and Dad did for us. And we truly appreciate it. And we love you. Happy 80th.
Our oldest son, Travis, was going to come down from Provo, and his car broke down, so he had to turn back and go to Provo. But we're grateful for Travis. He's finishing school at BYU, and will be applying to medical school, and we'll just see where he ends up going. Travis and Kiji and their kids live in Provo, Limelight Terrace. They've got 3, and then they've got his wife's sister that lives with them, Pearl. But we're really grateful to have Forrest here. Forrest has been on several of the activities before. He's got Aspen and Sierra, and we're grateful to have them here. Forrest is working at the Columbia Hospital there in Provo. We're proud of Forrest and what he's doing, and his 2 daughters, good kids. Then our next youngest son, Ryan, is in a medical program with the Navy in North Carolina. And he's getting ready in March to go on a cruise of the Mediterranean with a bunch of jughead Marines, he calls them. That will be on the ship, and they'll be on the ship for about 6 weeks together. He handles everything from ingrown toenails to stitches. So he has some good experiences with them. And then Quentin is just finished his first year on his mission in Inglewood, California. And he's having a great experience speaking Spanish. Had a couple of Spanish Indians that didn't speak any English, which was an interesting experience for him. But he broke the record in the mission in December. He had 19 baptisms in December, and the mission president had a rule that because he was starting the mission president, he went to every baptism in his mission. Every time they'd have a baptism, he'd personally show up at the baptism. And finally told Kelly in December, don't expect me to come to any more of your baptisms because you're really hogging the show here in our mission. So he didn't come to anymore, but he's having a great experience. And we have Ashley getting ready to get married in June. So we'll have a new addition in our family with Ben. So we're excited for that. And then Jane teaches seminary still. Great. Memories of Mom, just real quickly. I remember in our family, Mom had a real commitment that when we were in primary, unlike other young kids that would stand up and read their talks in primary, Mom didn't want a Lundeen to stand up and read their talks. So we would memorize our talks, and that's probably, Chris, when you started memorizing things. We would memorize our talks, and Mom would work with us, and we'd stand in front of the mirror, and we'd memorize, and we'd get up there, and boy, we would shine in primary. And I remember that had a real impact on me. I had a little bit of a stuttering problem when I was younger, and just being able to learn the foundation of speaking that Mom gave to us was a great influence in my life. And then as we moved forward in life, Mom and Dad always had family home evenings, the basics. We would read scriptures together, and the family home evenings weren't that fun in our home, but we did it. And there was a principle that we learned. And Mom and Dad taught us the gospel, and as Pam said, we would see them go to the temple. And we knew that they would go to the temple. We weren't always the best kids when they were gone to the temple, but they went to the temple. But I had an experience in my life where I had an Alma the Younger experience. And I had picked a young lady that Jane knows real well that I met at BYU, and I thought she was the love of my life. And she was leading me down a path of you don't want to go on a mission, so I didn't want to go on a mission. And that was a tough part of my life. And Mom sent me my patriarchal blessing and underlined some things that talked about family and mission, specifically mission, and other things in my life that as I read that, I realized the direction that I was going was the best direction. And then I came home, and this young lady came to where we lived, to live close by us in Los Angeles. And it perpetuated the relationship. And I remember one night coming home from a date with her, and I didn't go blind or I didn't go deaf like Alma the Younger, but I had to pull over in the 55 Chevy, Kenny. Pulled over alongside the road, got out of the car, sat down on the curb, put my knees, took my head to my knees, and I was just overtaken by a spirit, letting me know that I was headed in the wrong direction, and it was time to make a change. And as I prayed that night, late at night, realizing that something had to be different in my life and that I was going in the wrong direction, I felt this overpowering spirit that there were those who had prayed for me and were sincerely concerned about direction. And the Lord let me know what I needed to do in my life. And I came home, and we also had a tradition of when we come home from dates, we would go to Mom and Dad's bed and walk into the bedroom, and we'd sit down at the edge of the bed and we'd talk to Mom and Dad about how things went. And I remember going home late that night and sitting down and talking to Mom and Dad and saying, I want to let you know that I'm going to go on a mission. And I'm going to do the things I need to get done. But that's always been a lesson to me that because Mom and Dad had family home evening, we prayed together, we read together, we went to church together, Mom and Dad went to temple together. That it had a great impact on me, even though they might not have thought it did. So I'm grateful for the influence that Mom has always had in our life. And Mom, you probably are thinking, well, this is a great experience, but these are the kind of things we talk about after the bed, so I have to get there. So that's mine. Pam.
It was really wonderful to be able to give somebody the tribute they deserve in life, while they're still here. So just a couple things. So many, it's all been said, but I'm the only girl, I'm the oldest, and I think Mom and I have always had a special bond because of that. She's been my shining example. I think I understood her more than ever when I held my first baby in my arms, and I realized what it was like really to be a mom. Suddenly I realized the sacrifices that she had gone through for all of us. I don't know if you noticed, but she made me the cutest clothes. I mean, she dressed me just adorable, and she made all of my clothes by hand. You guys, we had no money. We were poor as poor. I mean, you'd think my father worked for Howard Hughes, that we would have been rich, but we were poor. And they did the most incredible things so that we would have a wide variety of experiences without any money. It was just amazing. You guys know we went the cultural experiences, we went to the Hollywood Bowl and we went to the Greek Theater. We went out on the boat, went deep sea fishing, and we had wonderful experiences. We went to Disneyland faithfully every year, and that was a big financial sacrifice. And, you know, they took us camping all the time. It was not expensive to do, but I have the most wonderful memories of going to, every year, as soon as school was out, we went to Carpinteria and camped for a week. And then later on in the summer, we went to Yellowstone for 2 weeks.
Yosemite.
Yeah, I mean Yosemite for 2 weeks. And Mom would finagle to get us right down on the river. Remember that?
Joshua?
Sometimes we'd have to stay somewhere another night or two. But she would work it and finagle and find out who was leaving and get us right on the river. And we, for 2 weeks, we'd have the most prized spot in the whole place. And if Dad couldn't get off work and go, which he often couldn't, she packed us all up in the car and took us by herself, set up the tent, set up the camp, did everything, took us on the hikes, and remember the firefall? Do you guys remember the firefall? Oh my gosh, you guys. We had incredible experiences, just really amazing. And a lot of it was because of Mom. One time, you guys will remember this, she took us camping, and we had to stop. It was at night, and we were getting into where we were supposed to go, and just in the lights of the car, this whole line of tarantulas went across the road. Well, I don't remember, one of you guys went loony, Chris, I bet you, had to have one of those tarantulas. Mother stopped the car, got out, went and got one of those tarantulas, put it in the cottage cheese carton in the back of the car, and went on for him. And then when we got to the camp, it was dark. She opens the trunk, and the cottage cheese carton is open. And the tarantula's loose somewhere in the back of the car in the dark. And she has to set up the tent for all of us by herself. Of course, my father wasn't there. He would always fly in later, you know, and join us. But she set up the camp. And, you know, just wonderful, wonderful experiences they gave us in our lives. And she has been my shining example. And I just want to read a quote to you in every way. I mean, they didn't exclude the spiritual either, as Kim said. I love you more than words can express, and have tried to be the kind of mother to my children that you've been for me. You were my wonderful example, and you still remain a beautiful example of dedication and faithfulness to your family and to the Lord as you strive each day to help and strengthen and serve, even as you deal with the difficulties and infirmities of age. You have truly given your all in the service of your family and the Lord, and as Elder Bruce R. McConkie said, we are all part of the eternal plan, and those who give their all in the gospel cause shall receive the Lord's all in the mansions which are prepared.
Mom?
Is it my turn?
It's your turn. Oh, wait, Kim. Did you want to go down?
Well, you know what, it's getting kind of late. Mom, do you have a few words you want to say real
I
quick?
just want to say thank you. I love you so much, every one of you. I love you with your wives and your husbands, just like me, my own. And you grandchildren and your wives and your husbands, you know, I do everything I can to let you know how much I love you. But I want to thank you. So this is going to sound really important in the family. Thank you. I love you so much, all of you.
Okay, happy
Here we go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Grandma. Oh, look at that.
Thank you.
Okay, here's a picture moment.
Hang on.
Hold on, don't blow them out yet. Go around on this side where you can see well. Let's turn the 80 around so everyone can see.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Get up close. Bring it up close, Mom. Get up close.
Get up close to what?
Don't burn yourself.
Don't burn yourself. Okay, Dan, look over here. Go. All right.
I want a family picture now. We don't have have.
We're gonna get a family picture.
You can do everything.
This is